Greetings to all lovers of good cinema. In this episode, I will talk about the movie The Family Man. In 1987, a young couple says goodbye at New York Airport. Jack is flying to London for an internship at Barclays Bank. Unfortunately, Kate cannot join him due to her studies. At the moment of parting, she has a bad feeling and asks Jack not to leave. Kate believes that for family happiness, a career is not important. The main thing is to always be close to your loved one. Jack reassures her, saying that 1 year apart will not affect their relationship, and then he boards the plane. 13 years have passed. By this time, Jack has become the head of a major financial company. He is single and lives a luxurious life in a New York penthouse. On his way to work, he flirts with a wealthy neighbor and, in a conversation with the doorman, shares profitable financial advice. Jack arrives at his Wall Street office in a brand new Ferrari. It's Christmas Eve, but despite the holiday season, our hero only thinks about work. In a few days, a major company merger, for which he is responsible, will take place. At a meeting, Jack scolds a subordinate, not allowing him to relax until the deal is closed. "You can't think about the holidays," he tells him. The subordinate apologizes. After the meeting, Jack learns from his secretary that a woman named Kate Reynolds tried to contact him. This is the same Kate, his first love, with whom he had to part because of his flight to London. To avoid stirring up the past and upsetting her with false hopes, he refuses to return her call. Jack decides to walk home to get some fresh air and stop by the store. Shortly after, a dark-skinned man bursts into the store after him, asking the cashier to pay him $238 for a winning lottery ticket. Judging by the man's behavior and appearance, the cashier refuses to accept the ticket, claiming that it is clearly fake. "Get out of here and take your piece of paper with you," yells the cashier. Angry, the man pulls out a gun and, threatening the cashier, demands he take a closer look at the ticket. Observing the incident from the sidelines, Jack, for some reason, decides to intervene. Risking his life, he steps forward and offers to make a deal with the armed man. He offers to buy the lottery ticket for $200, then go to another store to cash it, earning $38. Any seller would believe a white man in an expensive suit. The guy agrees. Outside, Jack advises his new acquaintance to get rid of the gun and start earning an honest living. After all, everyone needs something in life. Laughing, the man asks Jack what he needs. Our hero replies that he has everything and doesn't need any help. Changing his expression, the man suggests remembering this conversation and adds that Jack started it himself. Then he wishes him a Merry Christmas and leaves. After this unusual incident, Jack returns to his empty apartment and goes to bed. In the morning, he strangely wakes up in bed with Kate sleeping on his chest. Soon, 2 children and a large dog burst into the bedroom. In confusion, Jack realizes he is in an unfamiliar house in the suburbs of New York. Hurriedly putting on some clothes, he rushes outside. But on the porch, he is stopped by Kate's parents. The parents congratulate Jack on Christmas. "Lauren, Ed," he says their names in surprise. Not seeing his Ferrari outside, he takes Kate's father's car and drives to his home in New York. But strange things for our hero do not end there. The familiar doorman somehow does not recognize him and refuses to let him into the building. Even the passing neighbor cannot recall the wealthy man. Thinking their behavior is a ridiculous Christmas joke, Jack heads to his office. But there, the security guard doesn't recognize him either. Angrily, he shouts that he is the president of the company and points to the nameplate of the employees. However, the nameplate shows that the president is his subordinate, Alan Means, who was distracted during yesterday's meeting. Completely confused, Jack goes outside where his Ferrari stops in front of him. Behind the wheel sits that strange, dark-skinned guy. But now he looks completely serious. Driving around the city, the guy mentions their conversation from yesterday about how Jack supposedly has everything. He also vaguely explains that everything surrounding Jack now is just a hint, and how long it lasts depends only on Jack himself. Before leaving, the guy hands Jack a bicycle bell and, without any further explanation, drops him off on the street. Feeling confused, Jack decides to return to Kate. With difficulty, he finds the right house by asking a man taking out the trash for the address. The man turns out to be a neighbor and friend of Jack's. As they talk, Jack gradually realizes that in this reality, he is no longer a successful businessman, but an ordinary family man, married to Kate and raising 2 kids. He is also paying off a mortgage on a house, not large but quite comfortable. At home, Kate scolds her husband from the doorway, saying it's Christmas, and he went to the city without telling anyone. In his defense, Jack tries to explain that none of this is real and that he is actually a wealthy bachelor. Remembering the bell, he starts ringing it, hoping to end everything. The sound attracts little Annie. She rides up to her dad on her new bicycle and takes the bell from him. Jack insists that it's his and that he needs it. Despite her husband's strange behavior, Kate prepares to attend a Christmas party at the neighbors. To avoid staying alone with the kids, Jack has to go with her. At the party, he meets all the local residents and gradually starts understanding what's happening. It turns out his wife works as a free auditor, and she's completely fine with it. In the evening before bed, Jack has to walk the dog for the first time. In the morning, he is woken up by a baby crying. Kate, who is taking a bath, reacts completely calmly to it, since on Tuesdays it's Jack's turn to take care of the kids. Previously, Jack had never taken care of children, let alone change their diapers. Watching her father's strange behavior, Annie starts to think that aliens have replaced him. After carefully examining the alien, the girl concludes that he is friendly and won't harm them. Jack, in turn, says that this is all temporary and that their real dad will return to them soon. After these words, Annie helps him take her little brother to daycare, shows him the way to her school, and also tells Jack where he currently works. It turns out our hero is a simple car tire salesman. He works at his father-in-law's shop, where he has a small personal office. Piecing together the chronology of events from photos in the office, Jack realizes that in this version of life, he didn't go to London for an internship, but stayed with Kate instead. The evening news doesn't lift his spirits either. It reports on a major company merger under the management of the brilliant financier Alan Means. Jack is outraged, saying that it's his deal. At this moment, Kate suddenly bursts into the bedroom saying, "The kids are already asleep." She quickly takes off her clothes. Jack feels awkward in this situation. As they get closer, he sincerely tells her that the sweet girl he knew 13 years ago has now turned into a real beauty. After these words, Kate goes to the bathroom to freshen up, and Jack decides to pretend to be asleep. On the weekend, the whole family goes shopping at the mall. While walking around, Jack accidentally ends up in a luxury clothing store, where the salesperson kindly offers him to try on one of the suits. Kate notes that the suit looks great on him, but after seeing the price tag, she asks him to leave the store quickly. For Jack, this incident becomes the last straw. Standing in the store, he complains about his meaningless family life and also reproaches Kate for her lack of ambition. In the car on the way home, the couple reconciles. They reflect on life and talk about the sudden illness of Kate's father, which led Jack to work for him. They also discuss how they had to move to the suburbs because they both decided it wasn't right to raise kids in the big city. Kate doesn't consider this life meaningless. She is completely happy with it. The next day, Jack goes bowling with his colleagues. He used to spend his leisure time in more upscale places, so his terrible performance ruined the mood of the entire team. Later, Jack learns that an attractive neighbor secretly has a crush on him. Wanting to take advantage of the situation, he asks a friend for her contact information, but the friend refuses. The friend explains to Jack how lucky he is to have a wife like Kate, saying that in this town, he won't find a better woman. He warns that even one random affair could easily ruin Jack's entire future life. Returning home, Jack can't fall asleep for a long time. He decides to watch a family archive tape that recorded Kate's birthday. While watching the video, our hero finally understands what family happiness is. Jack from the TV sincerely loves his wife and is not shy to admit it to her. The next day is their wedding anniversary. From the very morning, Kate presents her husband with her gift. Unfortunately, Jack didn't know about the anniversary, but for Kate, it seems as though he simply forgot. Wanting to fix the situation, he turns to Annie for help. The girl suggests acting like her real father and delighting her mom with a pleasant surprise. Following the advice, Jack reserves a table at a luxurious restaurant and arranges an unforgettable evening for Kate. He surprises her with his knowledge of exquisite dishes and excellent waltzing skills. Left alone in a hotel room, Jack finally confesses his love. Gradually, our hero begins to adapt to family life. He manages well with the children, completely restores his relationship with Kate, and even starts to enjoy simple work. During this period, the founder of his former financial company accidentally stops by his shop. On his way to work, the man had a flat tire. Taking advantage of the situation, Jack impresses his former boss with his knowledge of the financial market and earns the privilege of personally delivering his repaired car. In the next scene, he drives a luxurious car to a building on Wall Street. The founder gives him a tour of the familiar office and introduces him to his former mentee, Alan. After a brief interview, Jack easily manages to secure a prestigious position at the company. Finally, our hero can return to his familiar, luxurious life, but now with his beloved wife and children. At first, he thinks moving to New York is a great idea, but after talking to Kate, he changes his mind. She helps him realize that a happy family is much more important than any career. In the evening, Jack unexpectedly hears the sound of a bicycle bell. And later, when he comes to the store, he meets a mysterious dark-skinned guy who this time appears as a salesman. Jack demands to be left in this new life, but the guy makes it clear that the hint cannot last forever. Not wanting to waste time on a pointless argument, Jack hurries home to his family. After putting the kids to bed, he takes the dog for a walk one last time, and in a conversation with Kate, he asks her not to forget him. Closing his eyes for a moment, he wakes up in his empty Manhattan apartment. Hoping it wasn't a dream, Jack rushes to his home in Jersey. But on the doorstep, he is met by a stranger. The house belongs to another family. This situation deeply upset our hero. Putting all important matters aside, he decides to find Kate first. It turns out that after being left alone, she also built a successful career. Kate sent Jack a message only to return his old belongings. She became the head of a major European branch, and this evening she is flying to Paris. Returning home, Jack spends a long time reflecting on his life, not wanting to give up so easily. He decides to see Kate one more time. Just like at the beginning of the movie, the young people find themselves at the airport, but this time it's Jack who asks the girl not to leave. He tells her in detail about his strange Christmas dream in which they were so happy together. Somehow this story touched Kate. She decides to postpone her flight and stays with Jack. At the end of the movie, the two are having an engrossing conversation, sitting at a cafe table. Thank you for watching until the end. On this channel, you can always find summaries of good movies.